Hello, hi. Hi, hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel. My name is Krisha, and I'm a book dragon with too many books.
My name is Styles. I like to watch movies and TV shows.
That was
and anime.
Most
and YouTube.
Normal introduction they've given across all the videos. Today, we're talking about our top five favorite books.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, so let's dive right in.
Go.
Okay, I will go. Oh my God, the abuse. Abuse, chocolate. Anyways, all right, I am gonna go first, and absolutely, this was the hardest list to make, but this pick was the easiest one to be on the list. Like, there was just Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin is my favorite book of all time. Like, it just is. If all other books disappeared, I would be extremely sad. But as long as this was still here, I would be okay. Like, I love this book so much. And you'll kind of notice of all the books on the list that I like a book that, I mean, I guess this is not a hot take, but like if it ends well, if it ends with like just an amazing impact or twist or something, just like everything comes together, then it ranks really highly with me. And Fifth Season did that. Like, because the first 100 pages of this book, you're thinking like, what the hell is going on? Like, you're so confused. You're just like honestly hanging on by like the skin of your teeth to this narrative. You're just like, it's just wild. You're like, what the hell is happening?
Trip. I did read it one time, I remember.
Yeah, and the form is weird. Like, it bounces between.
Don't.
That's not it.
You just have to go in. Go in blind. That's the best way to go into this book. If you give them even a little bit of like a heads up, then like they'll already know. And like, no. You got to go in blind.
And by the time you get to the end, the way everything clicks together, I could literally feel the gears shifting and connecting in my brain in the last chapter. And it was just like an atomic bomb went off. It was so good. This is an adult fantasy novel. And it's about a woman. She has 2 children. She comes home after an apocalypse has happened, and this happens on planet Earth where there are always apocalypses. Like, there are always basically instinct or extinction level events happening, and this is just the latest one. Basically, she comes home after it's happened to see that her husband has murdered their young son, who's somewhere like probably between 2 and 4. Yeah. It's awful. And he has also run away with their daughter. And so the book opens with the mom immediately grieving, but then having to pull herself together because she has to go rescue her daughter. And
amidst an apocalypse.
Yeah, amidst an apocalypse. And there's a fantasy element in here in that the mom is called an orogene, basically, and she is essentially basically like an earthbender, pretty much. But that's the only type of bending, or for the main part, magic in this series. The narrative bounces between her and someone else who also is an orogene, but it seems to take place in a different time period. So you're trying to figure out what's going on with these 2 timelines and how they interconnect. And by the end of it, the way they like coalesce and collapse into each other is just chef's kiss. Brilliant. So the back of it says, it starts with the Great Red Rift across the heart of the world's sole continent, spewing ash that blots out the sun. It starts with death, with a murdered son and a missing daughter. It starts with betrayal, a long dormant wound, and long dormant wounds rising up to fester. This is the stillness, a land familiar with catastrophe, where the power of the earth is wielded as a weapon and where there is no mercy. Like, it's so good. And that basically tells you nothing about what this book is about, to be quite frank. I feel like everything I've said has probably just confused you more, but trust me, this is a ride you want to get on. Like, believe me. Isn't it? It is a trilogy, yes.
So you get to continue the story when the book ends.
Yes, and the trilogy actually wraps up in an amazing way as well. Like, N.K. Jemisin is just honestly one of my favorite authors. Like, I'm just waiting and begging and hoping that she comes out with something new. Because I've loved everything that she's written that I've read of hers. I've actually have this and then an honorable mention is another book by her, and she's just brilliant, and you should read everything she writes. Your turn.
I gotta grab my books.
Bruh. While Styles is doing that, I will show you the other honorable mention from N.K. Jemisin, which is The Kingdom of Gods. And I'm not going to tell you anything about this book because I promised I wouldn't go into and take a bunch of time with my honorable mentions. But what I will say is I picked all of these books based on like how often I think about them, how often I reread them, or how often I want to reread them. And I've reread this like 3 times. So good.
All right. My first book, The Rage of Dragons. I've talked about this like multiple times, almost in every single video. But
it's a good one, though.
This is my favorite book of all time. It was indirectly recommended to me by Krisha because she recommended it to our dad, who then recommended it to me. And then this is like the 3rd time I've read it this year, and I hate rereading books, but this one I will reread it until the cows come home. I love this book. Basically, it's about a young boy. It's like a coming of age story. And he's a young boy. He wants to be like in this society, you've got like the nobility. They're called like petty nobles and high nobles or whatever. And then you've got like the lessers who are just physically inferior because they're shorter and weaker and all that stuff. And then there's like this rigid caste system. And he's like basically on the bottom of the caste system, aside from basically the indentured.
He's not a drudge.
They're indentured servitude.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the only way to kind of rise through the ranks is through the military because their military is like the best since they have to fight. They're like in this ongoing war. They escaped one land, their homeland, and they came to this land, and the natives are basically trying to get them out. And so their entire society is built around the military. And so he wants to become this like one of the best military figures for the lessers, like his dad is. But then his dad is murdered by one of the nobles, and so like it's like an honor thing or whatever. But he's like, fuck that. I'm gonna avenge my father. So the entire story is him becoming stronger so that he can legally challenge the like the royal nobles who killed his father, so that he can legally like murder them and not be killed for it. Yeah. And so that's the entire book.
It's basically a revenge story.
It's a revenge story, but it's awesome because there's dragons! And then it's also awesome because there's magic. All the women are magical and all that stuff. And then there's fighting and there's killing and there's blood and then there's like the underworld and it's just like, oh, it's so great. And then like you have this whole, it's kind of like an African magic system. This right here is like reminiscent of, it's reminiscent of one of the flags, like the Kenyan flag, but I think the author is not Kenyan. I don't think he is. I think it said he was something else. I can't remember. But anyway, so there's like a lot of magic systems that are pretty cool. The world building is awesome. The character development is really cool. And what I like is this main character, he has just enough plot armor to keep him alive. He suffers he mentally and physically suffers throughout the entire 2 books that I've read.
Seriously.
Here's the second one. It's Fires of Vengeance.
You might as well just do your second favorite book.
No, I changed it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just mentioning this. This is the second one, The Fires of Vengeance, and this is also really, really, really good. And the third one is supposed to come out this January, and I'm so excited, but it may or may not, depending on if the author keeps his timeline. But if it does come out, I'm going to buy the third one. Well, the first, I don't own these.
Wow.
So I'm going to buy all 3 of them,
I'm
and then
shook.
I'm going to put them on a shelf, their own shelf, somewhere probably there-ish.
I'm shook because Styles mostly reads on their phone or their iPad.
Maybe I'll put it on a shelf in my bedroom. I don't know. But they're
And
going to get their own special shelf.
that's saying something. This is,
These are my favorite. Well, you should have known because I reread them. This is going to be my 3rd time trying
that
to
was
reread them
shocking
this year.
when you said that. That was really shocking to me.
3rd time this year.
Could not
4th
believe
time
it.
Total. I love these books. If I could consume them and just live off them, I would. So great.
My turn.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Well, one thing to know about Styles is that they're basically an adrenaline junkie, and these books are basically just like an action.
High octane.
It's just like basically an action movie, but in written form. Like when the main character, when they say the main character basically only has plot armor, that's all that's keeping them alive. Is that also the plot itself is pretty skeletal. Like it's everything happens so that this dude, the main character, can progress. Otherwise, like if it's not related to that, like it's just not. There's like no,
and we don't need it.
There's like
we
hardly,
don't need it.
There's like
Okay?
hardly
He
any
has one
exposition.
mission. There's so much exposition. What are you talking about? There's an entire world and culture and religion system that's built. Anyways.
All right, that's it. Dishonor on your whole family. family. Make a note of this. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
But if it's
Somehow we learn about that, but
I
I don't know how we learn about
you
that.
didn't read
to
the
be
books,
honest,
right?
I did.
Because
I love
it's
them.
right there. It's right there. There's an entire prologue in the first one that just explains all of that, and then in the second one, there's like a whole chapter where the queen, who like knows all of the historical knowledge of their people, she just gives it to him.
Well, yes, I mean, yeah, that stuff does happen, but still, it's not the same. It's not.
We don't need. The man has one mission. It's avenge my father. He said, "My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die." And that's the whole 2 books, and it's great. It's great.
Okay, I will say I really liked those books. I thought they were really good. I gave them all 4 stars, 4 out of 5. So I mean, I loved them, and I recommended them to other people. So
10 out of 5.
So that means I really liked them. That being said, someone who's like one of my favorite authors is R.F. Kuang. There is a difference in writing style. That's all I'm saying. Okay. That's all I'm saying.
One's not better than the other.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that one was better than the other.
I didn't say that you said that. I'm explaining to them. Okay. Because the way that you said it might have sounded like that, so I'm just saying that that's not what she believes, because one is not better than the other. They are just different, and they're for different people, and this book is for me. It was written for me.
And I think they're good,
too.
It
was written for his son, but I feel like it was written for me.
Okay. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. The next one that I picked is, I can't believe I'm saying this, is a nonfiction novel. Jesus Christ. It's a nonfiction book. This is Things I Have Withheld by Kay Miller. And I think about this book all the time. I listened to it on audio, and it's read by him, and he has just such a beautiful, mellifluous voice that, like, I love it. And
word of the day, define mellifluous.
It's like, kind of like melodious. Why would you do this to me? It's like one of those words that I know in context.
A word that most people don't know.
I know it
flex on everybody. SAT word of the day.
I hate you. It means of a voice or word, sweet or musical, pleasant to hear. Anyways,
What's so great about it?
I'm about to tell you.
I was trying to get us back on. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So anyways, I don't read a ton of nonfiction, as you can tell, and as you will be able to tell from this list, and if you watch all of our other videos. But when I do, I typically gravitate toward essay collections and or biographies, autobiographies, or rather, no, memoirs. But I don't typically, I've read a couple, but I don't generally love celebrity memoirs. I like memoirs about everyday people getting by. And all of that to say, so I read a lot of essay collections when I'm reading nonfiction, and this is the best essay collection I personally have ever read. I think about this book all the time. And it's a collection that blends memoir and criticism to explore the silences that exist in conversations about race, sex, and gender. And I had to read that here because I swear to God, I was like, how do I even
Sometimes
describe this?
The writer does it best.
Thank you. Yeah.
Writer, editor, whoever, sometimes they do it best.
He definitely does. And like, he was definitely influenced by James Baldwin, and like his works are kind of in conversation with like, if you like Ta-Nehisi Coates, you would love Kay Miller's essay collection. And he's just amazing. And I mean, some of the things, like, listen to this first one. Every day it is like this in America and in Trinidad and in Jamaica and in the whole world. We write because there are things we have withheld. We die because there are things that have been withheld from us, which is to say respect, which is to say dignity, which is to say love. Like, I mean, the man, he writes so well. He writes with such emotion. Everything feels like poignant, and like, everything feels like it's just said with like an exclamation point. But like, the people that he cares about, the stories that he holds close, that he wants to share, he does with such care and tenderness that it just feels really good. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing. He has this one essay called The Crimes That Haunt the Body. And like, it opens with, there are crimes that haunt the body and specific crimes that haunt specific bodies. This haunting is not a memory. It hardly matters if the crime has happened or not, just the fear of it. The knowledge of its possibility causes us to walk the long way home, an extra mile, to avoid the dark corners.
That is called anxiety.
I mean, no, it's not called anxiety.
Well, it's a form of anxiety for having fear of something that may or may not happen.
I mean, yeah, but it's not about being anxious. It's about knowing that there are things and people in this world that are literally preying on your downfall. That people that will hurt you, like being a woman and like knowing that there are people who would hurt and attack you. The whole thing of like, do you choose the man or the bear? And all the women, like across the world, are like, definitely the bear. Like that's what he's talking about. The expectation of violence or being harmed that's rooted in the history of being harmed. It's not imaginary, it's real. It's just amazing. Like talking about James Baldwin, he said he like has this essay called Letters to James Baldwin, and there's this part in it where he says like, James, there are still men who wear white sheets in that country to which you were born, and who burn crosses, and who march in support of the Aryan nation. There are still men who tattoo Nazi signs on their skulls, and people who spit at me and call me the N-word. I have no desire to write to such people, to condemn them, because that kind of racism, that kind of hatred is so unimaginable, so obviously deprived of reason and morality that why I should waste words and intellect on it is strange to me. And then he goes on to talk about a bunch of other stuff, but it's just like, I mean, it's just bars on bars on bars. And it's hands down the best essay collection I've ever read. And it's really, really good. And I've read some really good essay collections, one of which is Hood Feminism, which you should definitely read. It's really amazing. But this one, if you're only going to read one essay collection in the entirety of your life, you should read this one because it will make you a better human being. Like, full stop. That's it.
Alrighty. Hard pivot. My next book, and these are now in no particular order.
Same.
My next book, because this was first that I picked up, is The Sword of Summer, Magnus Chase book. So Rick Riordan, I don't know how to say his name. He was my favorite author as a kid. So like, my sister's generation was Harry Potter. I was Percy Jackson. Like, it's how it is.
Yeah.
So this is one of his, like, the series that he came out. Yeah, this is a series that he came out after Percy Jackson, and so I think I was in college when this one came out. So definitely still not written necessarily for me, because it's, I think about, he might not be in middle school, he might be in high school, but it's about like someone who's younger than me, but I still love this book. I liked it because the Greek gods, they'd been played out, we'd done it, and so this just introduced a whole new mythological system, and so these are the Norse gods, so the gods that the Vikings and whatnot that they worshipped. And so I thought that was cool. I really do like learning about mythology and how, like, way back in the day, certain different cultures like interpreted different things. Like, they have different myths for like why the sun rises, why the seasons happen, like all that stuff. And so I like learning about the different things. I also like this book because this book is a lot more diverse than the Percy Jackson series. The Percy Jackson series just started with just like, white kids. And then as it went on, then it diversified a bit more. But this one, it starts off that way. And so it's really cool. And then the second book is when we get someone who's like the first person main character who's like gender queer. And so that one was really lovely to see, just like how we can just have these people, we can accept them. And then that's the one where, because a lot of the argument that I hear when people talk about like genderqueer, like older folks, they're like, oh, this is something that new people made up. And it's like just so not true. Like we might have recreated different language and different words for these experiences, but these experiences have been around for literally centuries. And to show that, like in the second book of this series, they explain like how the Norse, like how they had their own word for someone who was genderqueer. And then you just, learn more, do more research, and then you'd be like, oh, a lot of cultures all over the world had different words for this. And so it's not like this new thing that kids are just now like discovering. It's like, no, this has been around for a long time, but because of the effects of, colonization and all that stuff and certain religions and whatnot, it's just been erased and, stomped on. And now books like this not only brings that stuff back, like that history back, but also just kind of shows it in like a fun context and in a way where it's like totally okay. And it presents it to young kids. And so
that's what I was just about to say too. It's also nice too because like it's like this is a middle grade novel. And so like kids are introduced to this. And
as long as it doesn't get banned.
it probably already is. I mean, honestly, but like it's introduced to them in like a safe and fun way where they can just realize like, oh, this is just a part of life. It doesn't have anything, doesn't hurt me, doesn't harm me. It just is a thing. It's like, trees are just a thing. Like, okay, cool, whatever, that's fine. And like I think that's one of the things that people don't understand, that like children are way more resilient than we give them credit for. Like they can understand that like things their culture may have done in the past are bad or were bad, and not internalize that and say, well, then I must also be bad. Like,
right. As long as you have that conversation with them, and
exactly. So kids can understand a lot more than we give them credit for. And when you expose them to more things as children, they're much more open, accepting, and like loving human beings as they grow up and get older. So it is nice to see that just in a middle grade novel.
These books were definitely fun, and they definitely introduced me, because before I really started reading Percy Jackson, I was reading like Junie B. Jones and like all that stuff. Same. And so like no shade to Junie B. Jones, I loved it. And like the
Such
ABC mysteries, like those were the kind of books I was reading. This is this author specifically,
Kids
right, he introduced me to like fantasy and action and like all that stuff, like in books. It's not just in movies. And so if it really wasn't for these series, I might not be as big of a reader as I am. I'm not as big as Krisha, but I do be reading. But if it wasn't
get them there.
If it wasn't for these, no, because I won't have enough time for my movies.
Literally the whole point of this channel. It's literally the whole point.
Anyways, this has a special place in my heart. So definitely this series. Percy Jackson, like more, but this one I enjoy more because I'm older.
Nice. Very cool.
I haven't finished this series. I need to.
Also, in talking about some of the stuff we were just talking about, especially with the genderqueer character, an adult novel that you might want to read if you're interested in books that share topics and characters like that, I would definitely check out or recommend The Prophets. It's a pretty heavy novel, but it's amazing. It's fantastic, and it has these like flashback vignettes to an African tribe, because it's a story about the main characters are slaves in the U.S. and so there are some chapters that like reflect back to like their homeland or what have you. And there's a third gender queer, like there's just a third gender as part of their society that just is a natural part of their society. And it's like amazing the way that's shown and represented. So like to Styles' point, you can see like how that was just a part of communities in for time immemorial, really, and. Fantastic book. Highly recommend. It's really good. So. Okay, my turn. Again, these are not in any particular order, by the way. They're just how they're stacked here.
Rage of Dragons is first for me, but then...
fifth season is definitely first for me. I'm not, like I said, favorite of all time. But anyways, next up is Legend Born. And I've recommended this to so many people. In fact, somebody I recommended it to, I let them borrow this book and they gave it back to me with this thank you note. Just made my day. Thank you for letting me borrow Legend Born. I loved it. I'm really enjoying YA fantasy lately, and this was perfect. I actually already bought Bloodmarked, which is the second one in the series. I was just like, tears. But this book is amazing. When I talk about understanding how to finish a novel, like Legend Born literally made my brain melt and then like leak out of my ears by the end of it, and I was so happy about it. Like. It's so good. I hope that you've heard about this book, but if you haven't, it follows a girl named Bree Matthews. And she goes to UNC, the university. And long story short, her mom has died prior to the novel opening, and she's grieving that.
You can't start a good fantasy novel without a dead parent. You just gotta do it.
Something. But
Disney knows.
And she starts to realize that maybe there's more to her mom's death than the accident that happened. And she meets a boy named Nick, who
as one does. We've all met a Nick.
And Nick is amazing. I love Nick. He really made a strong comeback in the third one, because the second book was not my favorite, but the third one, Oathbound, brought me right back into this world, and I was just like, yes. But anyways, Legend Born, though, back to this, she meets Nick. He's part of like a secret magical society, which is basically they have the reincarnated powers of the Knights of the Round Table. And Nick is supposed to be Arthur, but he has like sworn off the society because he's like, y'all are basically, y'all suck. Y'all are not good people. You're not good humans. And I don't want to be a part of it. But he goes back into it for her because she thinks that her mother's death is somehow tied or somehow connected to this society. And so she wants in, and he reluctantly goes back so that he can pull her in because of stuff. And then the plot continues from there. I don't want to share anymore because I don't want to do any spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it. But I will say this probably is my favorite YA novel of all time. Because it has amazing criticism and critiques on like racism, some of the more horrible history of the US, and how you as a Black girl, I mean, it's like true Black girl magic, like how you can come up and like really take ownership of your life and put yourself in the driver's seat and not let the hate of other people and their desire to control you run your life. You know, and I think that's really good for young Black girls to see and be exposed to. And the way that the rest of the characters around her, like it's a little bit of found family, but the way they come around her, like you haven't been cared for and uplifted by anyone the way that like Nick and William, I mean, I guess kind of Sel, not really though. He's a little bit too toxic of a character for me, but the way they uplift her, like allows her to be her better self. Like, and I think it's just a really good testament to like when you have community around you, how important that is. And then also those characters are white and they understand how to use their power and privilege to help her. Because, you know, in certain ways she can't. Like, and so it's a really good representation and help people understand how to be a true ally and co-conspirator. And it's just, it's amazing. And again, the twist at the end, bruh. Like,
there are some good plot subversions in there.
Like, yeah, like it was so unexpected. Like, it takes a lot to shock me, and I think pretty much the end of most of these were either immensely satisfying or immensely shocking in a good way. Like pretty much all of these, and this was one of the ones that I did not predict it. I was like, time out. I was literally reading it and I had to close the book and like sit for a minute before I finished because I was just like, oh my God, is this going where I think it's going? Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Like, I was like clutching my pearls at the end of this one, and it's amazing and highly recommend. I've basically asked everyone I know to read this book because it's so good.
I did get an ask and I did read it. It was really good.
Yeah.
I have some connections to the campus, so that was fun for me, but I also... that book, like I said, how in this one, like it sparked me to like do more research in like the various magic systems and whatnot. This book also sparked me to do more research, and so I even bought more books because of that one.
Wow, what'd you buy?
I bought some about. Well, I don't want to say it because I don't want to like spoil it. So I'll tell you after it. But I bought some books. Didn't finish any of the ones that I bought. The root? But...
What? It's been out for a while. It's been out for a while, and I need to know because you didn't share those with me, and I would love to read that.
I mean, yeah, you can take them with you. I've not
Thank
probably
you.
never finished them.
Okay. Your turn.
One of them might be at my office. I can't remember.
Okay. Well, I'll take the other one.
Okay. This is my next book.
I really want to read this.
So I've done 1, 2. So this is my third one. Okay. This one is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. And so it's just pure fun. Okay. Like Krisha likes to read all the like heavy, books or whatever.
That's
I like
not
the ones that are a lot of those books are heavy. Legendborn is low-key heavy. This season is definitely heavy.
Okay,
that one is the heaviest book I've ever seen. It's so heavy I don't think I could lift it.
Okay, lies. That is true though, but I like stuff like this too.
I didn't say you didn't like stuff like this.
Okay.
I just said you like more of the heavier stuff where I prefer more of this stuff.
That's a fair assessment, yes.
Yeah, because I mean, this stuff is like quick to read. It's easy to read. So if you're looking for something like, I'm just gonna get on the plane real quick, or whatever, you can pick this one up. Or maybe like you're going to visit your family, your mother-in-law or extended family that you're like, oh, I really want to just disassociate for a little bit. You can just take this with you casually.
Yeah. These are the books that like have you like kicking your feet.
It's really fun. It's really cute. It's one of the like spicy romance novel books, but what I like about it is because the main characters are people of color, so that's always a plus. And this main character, like, this is the first time in these like spicy novels where I'm like, I relate most to this main character. Every other like spicy novel, I'm like, I don't relate to these women at all.
Right.
Like any of the
I'm here for the
characters,
ride. It's fine,
Right,
but like that's not me.
Right. I'm more so for like the plot and the vampires and like all that stuff. But this one, I was like, she's super funny. This author, I think, does funny very well. To be able to integrate and like humor and spicy and just like a fun little plot, she does a great job. I bought this book did you give me this book?
I recommended it to you. I don't think I bought that though.
Okay, maybe I saw it. Maybe you recommended it, and then I saw it when I was out with my friends and bought it. So I bought it, read it, and then immediately ordered the next two online because it was just super, super fun. So I like this. But basically, the plot of this book is she's a human girl that lives in, a human town, and like demons exist, but they're like, you don't really want to mess with a demon because they'll kill you. But for whatever reason, this demon ends up in. I think her name is maybe her name is Cinnamon. She might be Cinnamon. Yeah, she's Cinnamon, and her name is Cinnamon because she like works on a cinnamon farm, and he comes to like kill her accidentally, and she smacks him in the face with a branch of cinnamon, which like breaks the spell over him, and so then we learn that all of the demons have basically been spelled and ensorcelled, and that's why they attack humans.
Ensorcelled?
It's a word. Look it up.
I know it's a word. Would you like to define it for the
Ensorcelled
class?
Means that you have a sorcerer came and...
I know, that was an easy one.
Yeah, it was. But anyways, and so then that basically starts the plot where they have to then free all of the demons. And then along the way, they fall in love. And it's cute. And I like it when they fall in love.
Yeah, and there's another one that we both really want to read. So she has like a spin-off series. So it's like this one where it's like, I didn't read the other ones, but I think they're all loosely kind of related, kind of in the same world, right? The next two?
The next one is her best friend, and the one after that is her younger sister, whom she thought was dead. Plot twist isn't.
Spoiler.
Sorry.
I'm like, dang, I just literally said I haven't read the other two.
I'm so sorry.
But that's fine.
But you find out immediately once you pick up the third one. It's like, oh, there she is.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. It's not like a plot point of that book that like, oh, we find like, no, she's just there.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I apologize. Literally flame me alive. Burn me at the stake.
Styles hates spoilers.
It's literally taboo, like number one. Like you can do almost
I'm actually
anything else
shocked
to
this
me.
happened. That's why I had to call it out.
got
I don't
too
care as
excited.
much as I appear
You
to.
could literally take food off my plate, which also pisses me off, but you could do that before you could spoil something for me. So I feel so bad.
It's fine. It's literally fine. But what I was saying was, so ashamed. She has another series about like aliens and like girls get abducted by aliens or something. I don't know, but I'm very excited by that. There's another one coming out in 2026, which I thought was the first one. Turns out it's the third one in the series.
So
we gotta like catch up. Yeah.
Did you put any of those on my advent calendar?
Why would I tell you that? That's a spoiler.
That's true.
But yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, advent calendars, go check out our other video.
Were you pointing that way? Because I pointed that way.
I did. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then, but yeah, that's also really good. We should actually spend some time talking about like our monster romance novels because we got Oh Girl, who we definitely need to get some love to.
The one like the population?
Yes. Yeah, we got to get her some love. Yeah. Okay, my turn. I've done, how many? Three as well. So I'm on my fourth one. Okay, so this next one is called The Spear Cuts Through Water. And it's written by Simon Jimenez. I read it this year. So the reason that I put this on this list is because it was my favorite book of 2025, which is saying something because I read Oathbound this year, which I loved. And there were a few other 5-star reads that I read this year. Tress in the Emerald Sea was amazing. So like for this one to come out on top, surprise, surprise, is like awesome. And I actually tried to read another book by him called Vanishing Birds and like couldn't really get into it. So I'm gonna give it another try because this one really blew me away. And like it was so good because like the story feels like an epic. Like if you like stuff like Homer or you know the Aeneid or the Iliad, you'll kind of like this in form, I would say, because it just feels similar. It's very atmospheric. You get really attached to the characters, and then the end of it is so satisfying that I was just like I finished it and felt like I just like my whole body gave a sigh of relief. Like
I love how the author's paragraph is just Simon Jimenez is the author of The Vanishing Birds. This is his second book.
I think maybe he was tired after he finished this because it's like the longest book ever.
He literally said, "You don't need to know anything about me. That is not important. Read my book."
And like
this person's name is Kima.
Yes, and
she had a dog named Kima.
Did true, and this book is interesting. The way it's written, like stylistically, is really interesting because it's a little bit of a story within a story. Like there's a character who basically gets taken to this magical theater, and then a play is happening, and the play is where the main plot of the story takes place. And by the end of it, you kind of realize like maybe there's a reason why he's there, because you can't go to this theater on your own. Like you have to essentially be summoned there in your sleep. It's really, really, really cool. It says, the people suffer under the centuries-long rule of the Moon Throne. The royal family, the despotic emperor and his murderous son, and his monstrous sons, the three terrors, hold the countryside in their choking grip. They bleed the land and oppress the citizens with the frightful powers they inherited from the god locked under their palace. But that god cannot be contained forever. With the aid of June, a guard broken by his guilt-stricken past, and Kima, an outcast fighting for his future, the god escapes her royal captivity and flees from her own children, the triplet terrors. So,
plot twist.
Yeah.
You keep reading, you're gonna give spoilers.
It's literally the intro blurb.
I know, but I want to blur it, and it's too much.
Anyways, it's just, I honestly was surprised by how good it is and how underrated this novel is.
This looks like the Hand of Tafiti.
A little bit, yeah. And I would say this would be a really good, so it's definitely, I would say, an adult fantasy novel. And I would say it would be really good for people who like, what was that one book by Sylvia Moreno? Shoot. Oh yeah, Gods of Jade and Shadow. If you like Gods of Jade and Shadow, I think you would really like this book. It asks a little bit more of the reader than Gods of Jade and Shadow, but I tell you, it's so worth it. The payoff is amazing, and it's so good. It's so good. Highly recommend. Love it, love it, love it. And I think about this book all the time. Like all the time I think about this book. So
cool. My next book is actually, because this is the last book I have a physical copy in my presence, is Fifth Season as well. It was going to be the second book, Rage of Dragons, Fires of Vengeance, but then you pulled it out and it's like, I actually did enjoy this book. So this also made my list. But I won't talk about it for the same reasons. I mean, I'll briefly mention. So in, spoiler alert, of my life, in college, I minored in fiction writing, so I used to write a lot. I don't write anymore. But I think I enjoyed this book from the writing perspective, because when I used to write, I used to focus more so on like the characters and the character development. That's why I like lit fics, because that's basically all that I wrote. And so I think the way that this handles character development is like just ingenious and is literally new to me. It's very, very novel. And it is a novel. And so I really, really like that, just from like that written perspective or like that writing perspective. I thought it was like super, super cool. And then like, you know, the plot twist at the very end, I was like, well, shucks. that was done very, very well. And I was very, very pleased. I think the very, very last page, like I low-key guessed that part of it, but much of like the main shock, it took me a minute to get there. I was proud of myself because I got there before the book told me, but still not quick enough. But it was
quicker than that.
Gotta be quicker than that. But yeah, it's really, really good. So this one also made my list. But I won't talk about the plot pieces of it because I just really thought that the way that it was written was very ingenious. Yeah, I'd never seen that done before.
I mean, I tell you, there's literally nothing. I like to say the perfect novel doesn't exist, and then I read this. I mean, I don't know. So yeah. Okay, so then my last one, I had to do Network Effect by Martha Wells.
Which one is that in the series?
This is the novel, so it's
Did I
the
read
fifth
this one?
one. Yes. It's the fifth one that came out. They started off as novellas. So there's like 4 novellas. Then this came out, which is more of the full length novel. Then after this, she wrote another novella. Then another. It's too short, in my opinion, to be called a novel, but they call it a novel, like the publishers or whatever. She wrote that. And then another one is coming out in 2026.
2026 is the time for books.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
Second Rage of Dragons.
It's
the
because-
next book in my Kristen Feehan.
It's because I think they know we need it. Like 2025, like if you survived 2025, like you deserve a present. And like for me, that's new books from some of my favorite authors. Like it's deserved, dang it. And Network Effect. So basically I picked all of these books, most of them, like I said, because they're books that I think about a lot or that I reread a lot. And I've read this one maybe 5 or 6 times. This is the book that is literally a balm to my soul. If I'm sad, if I feel icky or tired, if I'm in a reading slump, I will just pick this up and turn to any page and start reading it, or grab the audiobook and just start listening to it. And like, I feel better. My brain is bathed in so much serotonin. And when I read this book, like,
I still don't think I read that one. I don't recognize that cover.
fine. Well, you'll get to read
it
it for the
about?
first time a second time.
What is this one about?
Well, it's hard to tell a lot about it without, like, because you might spoil for the ones that come before it. But basically, the main character in this book is a kind of android that is called Murderbot, and Murderbot is a security unit, so their job is to function as security. And
For humans.
yeah, for humans. And it's a sci-fi novel, so it takes place, like, they go to different, like, space stations and different planets and stuff. So it's like out in the cosmos, basically. And
Is this the book that comes after the hive mind?
no, this is the Hive Mind one.
Oh,
Thank you. You
I've
have
read
read
this
it. Yes, thank you.
I didn't finish the one that
And
came after.
basically, Murderbot is on a survey, serving as security for something. And Murderbot is different from all other security units in that they have a governor module planted inside their brain, which basically tases the crap out of them from inside their body if they do something, if they disobey a command or whatever. So they're essentially enslaved because they are fully sentient and have their own consciousness, thoughts, and dreams and wants and things.
It's like that Miley Cyrus episode in Black Mirror.
Yeah. And so Murderbot has hacked their governor module for reasons. You have to read the earlier books. And so it's autonomous. And the people that it's with know that and want it to have its own autonomy. And
They're like hippies of the galaxy.
and it gets kidnapped. And in order to we've learned to find out to save one of its friends, essentially, that it's made over the course of the last few novels. We haven't seen it in a while, and then it comes back in this novel when it needs help from Murderbot. And stuff happens from there. I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say that this is one of the best books. And what's hysterical is that the main praise line on the back of this novel is Martha Wells is the best writer of lovable, snarky, gender subversive killing machines out there by N.K. Jemisin. N.K. Jemisin also loves Murderbot. Like, I feel so validated in my love of this book and this author and this other author. Like, I just was like, yes, it comes full circle.
Next book is a book that I read on ebook. It is called Dark Slayer. This is Dark Slayer. So this is one of those like spicy novels where it's like there's a bunch of books in the same series and each different book has a different couple that like falls in love and gets together. This one is about vampires and Carpathians, which are like the good vampires, but they don't call themselves vampires because vampires are evil. Anyways, so this is, I got this book when I was in high school, Dark Slayer, and I didn't realize it was part of a series. So I read the book and I liked it, and it's one of the few books that I will reread. Like I Rage of Dragons, I reread. Breaking Dawn, I reread pieces of it, but this one I would come back to every so often. And then for whatever reason, I decided to get rid of the book because I don't hoard my book. I'm not a book dragon. I don't hoard my books, and so I got rid of it because I was like, I don't need it. Also, the person that gave this to me, we have rocky history, so I didn't want to keep it for that reason. But then one day I thought about it, and I was like, and this was like maybe last year. Like early last year, I think December of the year prior. So 2023, December. I thought about it and I was like, I really want to go back to that book. I haven't read it in multiple years. So I went to it, didn't have it. And I was like, gosh. So then I bought it. And then I realized, I said, oh, I remember why. Because this was book 20 of a series. Book 20! And I found that out in high school and was like, I'm not going back. Because the way that this ended, I didn't know that it was, because it explains the plot where they kind of are standalone. Yeah, but it kind of ends like on a cliffhanger. So I said, "Oh, this must be book 1, and there's a second one." No, this was book 20. Okay, I was like, Jesus, I'm not going back because this was before I even had a Kindle. So like getting 19 other books was not really feasible. But now I had Kindle, so I said, let me go back and read the stories from book 1 to here to see if this is still as good as I remember it or what. And I just wanted to do that experiment. I'm 38 books in now. And book 39 comes out in January.
And this is part of the reason why I can't get Styles to read some of the other stuff that I recommend, because they're busy reading this series that will never freaking end.
I'm caught up though, and she really only puts out like one book a year so far that I know of. Well, the last book I read when I finished this, I read the other book that came out, and now next year, like this January, they're putting out another one. So I think it's one book a year. But yeah, going back, the first like 6 books are god awful. They're terrible. Like the writing is just not good. The plot isn't good. The spicy scenes aren't good. Like it's just bad. But then she really gets better. And by the time you get to book 20, then it's like she's really caught her stride.
Well, I
and
should
it's really,
hope
really good.
so.
Well, I mean, it's really by the time you get to like book 14, 15. It was when I was
Again,
like, okay.
I should hope so. 14.
But anyways, this book, by the time she gets to 20, and it's still my favorite of the entire series. It actually held up in memory and in comparison to the other ones because it's a kind of a breath of fresh air. Some of them they get a bit repetitive, but this one it's different. It stands out, and so I really like this one.
So what is it about though? Did you ever say?
No.
Okay.
So basically, this is supposed to be the main character. That's not how she looks like in my head, but this is supposed to be the main character. Her name is, I think it's Ivory.
Okay,
and
we'll go with that.
Yeah, and she is what they call a Carpathian. So Carpathians are essentially vampires, but they are immortal and they have powers. They have like, they can fly, they can shapeshift, they can telekinesis. They have pretty much any power that you can think of. They basically have it.
They all can do it, or some of them can do some of it, kind of like a mutant situation?
They all can do it, but some of them do specialize in other things. So like they're connected to the earth, and so there are some dudes, like many of them are warriors, and so like they all can fight. But some of them train to be warriors, and so they're especially good at it. Most of the men do. But some of the men, like, they have an affinity with the earth where they can pull jewels, so then they become a jeweler. Some of them, they like music, and so they become a musician. So some of them have special, like, gifts, but for the most part, they all can do the same thing.
Okay.
But the men, they're the warriors, and the women are basically babied because if the man, it's like a life mate, fated mate situation, and if the man doesn't find his female, like his wife in a certain amount of time, then he loses all of his emotion and the ability to see colors. And after centuries of that, of not being able to feel anything, then they eventually give in. That seems
ridiculous.
Right. They drink blood, but not to kill. However, if you do kill a human by drinking blood, then you feel like this rush, this high. And so after centuries of not feeling anything, they then start chasing that adrenaline and that high. And so then they start killing humans. But then that like damns their soul forever. So even if they find their life mate afterwards, it's too late. They have now become vampires. So that's why you don't want to call them vampires, because vampires are Carpathians who gave up. And it's only men, and they will then kill and essay and just torture humans and other people alike. And so the male Carpathians, the warriors, that's who they're fighting. There's also mages and lycans and other stuff, but they don't come until later. This girl
later, after book 20.
After book 20.
The
mages come earlier, but the lycans don't come until afterwards. Anyway, this girl, her name is Ivory, and she had 5 brothers who protected her. But then they all, there was this prince Like the prince of their people wanted her, but she was like, that's not my life mate, so I don't want him. But then he was evil, and so he then, out of rage and jealousy, hacked her up into pieces and left her to die. But then Mother Earth took her as her child, put her back together, and so then and then all 5 of her brothers at that point, they then turned into vampires at the same time, which is unheard of, which means that they did it deliberately, which is just like damning. And so she becomes a slayer. That's why it's called Dark Slayer. She becomes a vampire slayer and has to hunt all of her brothers because they're killing everybody. And then along the way, she falls in love with, her life mate. But that's basically what the movie is about. The book is about.
Is her life mate a wolf?
No, she has wolves that she turned because when she was healing, it took centuries to heal. She basically healed with this wolf pack where like they were being hunted and by other people, and she saved them. And then like years, like centuries, generations after generations, she basically like became a part of their family. But then the vampires found out about it because they were afraid of her, so they wanted to like deal us mental blows. So they murdered her entire wolf pack. She found some.
My goodness.
Yeah, she found it was 6 puppies that
horrible.
were dying, hadn't died yet, and so she then turned them accidentally. She didn't mean to turn them, but she turned them, and so they're Carpathian wolves. And so because of that, they're bigger, stronger, faster than other wolves, and they drink blood. And so she hunts with them. They don't die; they're immortal. She hunts with them, and they can like jump on her back and either turn into a trench coat, like a wolf pelt trench coat, or they can turn into her tattoos.
Interesting.
Yes.
Got a little bit of like in the slime where the wolf can like go into the shadow. Or kind of like in Naruto with
The like wolf dog, like the dog, the talking dog things.
And then it can like interesting, very interesting.
Well, she can communicate with them because they're also telepathic, the Carpathians, and because they're Carpathian wolves, they're telepathic.
So
too.
much happening right
Oh
now.
yeah, it's great.
My brain is
when I first read this, I really enjoyed it. And then when I went back to read the whole thing, I was like, this is awful, but we just got to get through it. And I hoped that this was going to be as good as I remembered. And it is really pretty good. So I had to add it to the list. Not that this is like one of my favorite books of all time, but I had to add it to the list because the series has really grown on me. I spent all of last year reading the series.
Seriously.
And now Christine Fian, she also has other series out. And so this year, I spent reading her Ghost Walker series. There's 20 books in that one.
Okay.
And now I'm going to start her motorcycle gang series.
Jesus Lord.
Yeah, this woman's going to get all my money.
Okay. Good night. All right. Well, my last one here is technically an honorable mention, but only because I limited myself to 5 books. Like if I had done 7 or 10 or whatever, this would automatically be on the list.
We had to limit because I couldn't think of more than 5 books.
It's Babel by R.F. Kuang. And basically R.F. Kuang, same as N.K. Jemisin, same as Octavia Butler, same as Kay Miller. She writes the books I want to read. Like, full stop. She's written, to my knowledge, published to my knowledge, 6 books. I've read 4 of them, and all of them have been 4 or 5-star reads. Like, amazing. I don't care. Argue with your mama. I liked Yellowface. I love Babel, and I love Catabasis. I'm sorry. They're good. I love Poppy War, and I just haven't finished that series because the psychic trauma from the end of Poppy War, I'm just like not yet ready for the other ones, but I'm building myself up to it. I personally think she's just a really fantastic writer. Like, she gets you, I feel gripped by the characters. I feel gripped by the plot line. Her fantasy novels, even the ones that are more kind of magical realism, where it's like, not super high fantasy, are really good, and they're additive to the novel, not just like, oh, we have it here. It's kind of just like a quirk that's like interesting. It's like, no, those pieces are integral to the action of the novel and the critique that she's trying to have on society or give to society or whatever. And this one in particular is an amazing critique on like academia and like secondary educational institutions, but also on imperialism and in particular the British imperialism, and also language and how imperialists would take resources from those countries but not just physical resources like gold, minerals, spices, whatever, but also like the actual language and how it's like a robbery of culture. And in this case, she used it in a magical way because Britain has all the silver, and you need silver, which they mine and take from other countries.
Of course.
But you need that to make magic happen. And magic in this novel is basically like electricity or the internet. It's like things that you need just to get life going. It powers their machines. It makes their carriages run faster. Just all types of things. And the way you get the silver to make the magic is through language. This tension between translation. So if you have a translation for water, and like if you have the word for water in English and then you have the word for water in Swahili or something like that, they're not exactly necessarily one-to-one translations. I mean, I guess for water, yes, but let's say waterfall, and like waterfall in English might be, I don't know, cascading water or something in Swahili. They mean the same thing. The idea is the same, but the literal translation is different. The tension between that could make water spout from somewhere where it's not supposed to be. And so you need the silver, then you need the language and the translation. And so you follow these kids who go to, in this novel, Oxford, which is the best magical institution in the world, to learn how to produce these bars and be magicians, essentially. And they're all obviously from different countries because Britain is in the business of mining not only physical resources, but also the intellectual resources and the languages from these other countries. And this book is very deeply concerned with that robbery, and it's just amazing the way she does it. And some people try to say that, like, she basically hits you over the head with it too much, but I don't think so. I think there's just such a richness and depth in her writing that sometimes people don't want to sit with that. But if that's your style, then you're going to really, really enjoy this. And for me, that's very much my style. And I'm enjoying that in her other book, Catabasis, which I have like a very small amount left. And I loved it in this one. I finished it and was like crying. I was like sobbing at the end. It's so amazing. It has a lot to do. This also has like a lot to do with like found family and personal sacrifice. Like I said, it's not just about the issues that she's highlighting, but also about the characters. Like she does a really good job of character development and making you care about them. And this is by far, if you're only going to read one of her novels, I highly recommend Babel. And then also, R.F. Kuang is just an amazing writer from like a satirical standpoint. She has like this really amazing way of blending like satire and sincerity in the same novel. Like Yellowface is the funniest book. Is one of the funniest books I think I've ever read because like if you can't understand it as satire, then you're not gonna enjoy it as much. But if you do, I mean, it's also a critique of like the publishing world, which is why it's way better than the other Black girl. But anyways, and it's funny. It's funny. It cracks me up. I enjoy it so much. Like it's like watching a train. It's just like watching a train wreck the whole time, and you're just like, what?
Because train wrecks are funny.
How? Yeah, actually they're not. But like, it's just like you can't look away. Like you just can't like. Anyways, it's amazing. She's amazing, and I'm sorry. Honorable mentions was supposed to just be like
it isn't. That was not an
the name.
That was literally here's my 6th book on the list, and you're gonna get it, even if I have to hit you over the head with it.
My bad. Hey, at least I did the other one right. My other honorable mention earlier, I did that one right.
I don't even remember what it was.
So yeah, see.
You did.
Anyways, those are today at present our top favorite and or 6 books of all time. Bye, y'all.
Peace.